This meeting is being recorded.
Tech fans, welcome to Up with the White and Gold, our weekly show all about everything Georgia Tech football. He's GaTechJon Watts. I am Jeremy the Impact York. Don't adjust your screens. I just like to troll UGA fans. This was what you saw when you tuned in to Hunker Down this week. And for people that can't see it, that is the home of the Hook'em Horns. First time all year that I actually picked against UGA, by the way. So don't at me with that one. But we're here to talk about a slightly more fun team to watch, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets, who I had in front of me actually pulled off a good win versus North Carolina. What'd you like about that one?
It was a very good game. Even like for even if you aren't fans of either team, it was a very good kind of battle back and forth. All the way through the end. Down to the last 16 seconds of the game there. One of those like, are they gonna? Okay, all right. And for actual Tech fans and alumni like myself, kind of keep you on your breath. You're like, all right, we're going good. We're going to get that up. We're going to blow that lead. Well, there goes the lead. Oh, how about that? So keep the streak against UNC going. 4 years in a row. So we're happy with that. Happy how that one turned out.
Yeah, because as last week's episode said, a Tar Heel is a sheep. Or a ram. Yeah. A ram, I think. Yeah. I'm not sure. A sheep or ram.
It's one of those things like the Tar Heels actually refer to the people who made the roads there in North Carolina, because they would actually get tar on their heels. And then they just use a ram. It's like Alabama, Crimson Tide, and they have an elephant.
Or the Auburn Tigers, who shout War Eagle.
Right.
Yeah, those are confusing. Those original Tar Heel people were probably some of the early pioneers of NASCAR, more than likely. So we got to give them a little bit of props. They helped pave the way for NASCAR, so to say.
Yeah, and that was a fun, interesting event this weekend too.
Yeah, big event this weekend. But we'll talk about that one in a minute, or maybe later, maybe a different show even. I got to start. I got to start with Haynes King. He clearly got hurt. What was it, midway through the second, midway through the third, whatever it was? He clearly was not right. It looked like his throwing shoulder. I don't know if it popped out. It didn't look out, but it looked like, because he goes to throw a pass and gets hit, and then he just walks like this, and they proceeded to basically run the ball the entire rest of the game, and that's why they hung on to it, because if he could have passed, this would have been put out away a long time back. But I haven't heard any reports. I haven't seen him on an injury report. I think it might have been a sprain or something, but it's still a little alarming, given that Zach Pyron really hasn't taken any real snaps this year. So what do you think about Haynes King?
Yeah, definitely. I think later on when we did end up having to take him out, get him checked out and put in Zach Pyron. It's one of those things like you put him in for sometimes, he comes in for a play. He's like, all right. But then when he has to consistently keep playing, and then use him for runs, and then he starts throwing a couple passes, and you're like, okay, there's something wrong here. So, hopefully, like I said, hopefully it's nothing too big. I haven't seen any injury reports either. So maybe just a strain, a sprain. Hopefully to have the week to kind of rest it and got to heal up a little bit, and because we're definitely going to need it this weekend. The tough matchup this weekend.
I hear the cure for a sprained shoulder is 2 chili cheese dogs and a varsity orange. It'll cure anything.
Yeah, anything with a varsity might clear you up. Might clear you out too. But,
you know what? I'm tagging varsity in this today. Maybe they'll sponsor this show, and maybe then Brent Key will respond to us and meet us for lunch. Because, and if not, hey, I will start putting that out to. I will put that out to quarterback coach Chris Winkie, not just so that we could meet him, but I'll put that out to him as well. Lunch is on Impact Media if you want to meet us at the varsity one day. It could be after the season, but we'll tag Chris Winkie in this too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Meet an old FSU guy.
Yeah, it definitely would. Um, but he didn't kick the ball wide left or right, so it wasn't his fault.
No, no, no.
He was one of the ones pretty down the middle. But other people that were down the middle, Jamal Haynes, 19 carries, 170 yards. He had 2 touchdowns. Haynes King, even with a busted shoulder, still ran for 107 yards and a couple scores. So it didn't affect his ball handling because people were like, oh, well, he wasn't throwing the ball. But no, you're still going to get hit. You're still going to have to hold on to the ball when you're running and you're getting tackled. So he could still take shots. And if something's not right, he could have made it worse. But it seems like for if most teams had to rely on just one way to score, they usually don't do very well. But Georgia Tech having to rely on running pretty much the entire second half of the game, they actually thrived on it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we've been using that run game pretty well this year. It's really something we've kind of fallen back on. Um, and yeah, definitely it did work out definitely for us, I think. I mean, 170 yards and 2 touchdowns for Jamal Haynes really helped us stay in this after getting kind of hurt. So after quarterback getting hurt. So yeah, definitely helped there, and even come down to the wire. That touchdown in the last 16 seconds. Doing a 68-yard run just to seal the take it back. So yeah, definitely one of those things that we have relied on this year, and will continue to rely on throughout the year.
Yeah. Not much to talk about receiving wise, but I mean, he only completed 11 of 22 passes. So, wasn't going to be a lot of big numbers there. The passing game was starting to take off a little bit when that happened. They were still using it as the icing on the cake, with the cake being running. Uh, Defense was doing pretty good. I know people are going to say, well, they gave up 34 points. Well, it was the way this game kind of played out that there was going to be a lot of points scored, and UNC is a pretty good squad. They were 3-3 coming into this, but end up with 3 sacks. The one I liked most was I think it's Saeed Gibbs. I thought his sack was at a very good time. A couple other guys split a sack, and uh, is it Sylvan Yonduin? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, yeah. That's
But yeah,
interesting one there to pronounce.
yeah, they have a ton of them. There are so many engineers that God bless the people who say people's names at graduations. I know you wouldn't know a lot about that, but God bless the people who have to pronounce these names.
Never gonna live with
Snuck
them.
that one in there too.
Yeah, never gonna live with them. I mean, my name's easy. I mean, I didn't even have to need to fill out a little piece of
It's
paper. I still
it's
had
seven
to.
letters if you shorten it. If not, it's like 14. It's not bad.
I gave you, I mean, 8 letters in my
12. We'll
first
do 12.
name.
Yeah.
Yeah, so 13. But lucky number 13. I mean, it's not that hard. I mean, my name's very simple.
Yeah. I mean,
But
Mark Lauren. How hard is that to say? Mark
I know,
Lauren,
right?
So many inside jokes that only the inside of these buildings know. But no, like I said, I liked them. They were still making plays when they needed to. The fact that they kept UNC from catching them, because yeah, those last handful of minutes were getting pretty entertaining. But another big day. Hayden Burr hit the kicks when he needed to. It's the same thing that happened with UGA, and I said that to Jake on that show. I said a lot of people look and go, "Oh, he was 2 for 3." Yeah, but he hit them when he needed to. The one he missed didn't cost you the game. He hit all of his extra points. And then you look at your punter, who's averaging 42 yards a kick and is good at pinning people deep and flipping the field. So neither one of these teams, UGA nor Tech, have any issues with their kickers, and I would leave it alone and be happy with that.
Yeah, definitely. I just said no, kind of keep them in there. It's they got close a few times there, and they tied it up in the first quarter, got one in three in the second quarter, got one in three within the third quarter, tied it up again in the fourth quarter, and
Mm-hmm.
then we'll go away with it. So it never, and no point in this game did UNC have a lead. So no, it was definitely things here and there, definitely that we had to do. Definitely keep them in there. Um, Different things that we've talked about already having to have the backup quarterback in there.
Mm-hmm.
Our leading receiver that we used during this game is a freshman. We had to bring in something different there with Luke
Mm-hmm.
Harpering. We'll have to use going forward as well with some injuries there. So yeah, but definitely good to have the different things go on and keep them at bay.
Yeah, because I mean, we don't know the status right now. Like I say, he's not on the injury report. We don't know where Haynes King is going to be at. But like I told Falcons fans this week, like I told UGA fans, a win's a win. Not all of them are pretty. You know, you take the good with the bad. You still got the W at the end of the day. You can say what you want, but I think you learned enough about your team to where you're gonna be better the following week because you know where your weaknesses are and you know what you need to do to fix that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, at this point on the stage, we're 5-2, so we're really not looking at worrying about rankings, and we're not. It's not something we don't expect to, be in that top 12. So, a win is a win. You know, uh, Good old Vin Diesel. You know, doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning is winning. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, we'll take them. We'll take them any way we can. 6 points, 3 points, 7 points. I mean, take them. We're 5-2. Best start we've had in over a decade. So it's something different, refreshing to see for once for a long time. And like we mentioned the last show we had, 6 wins makes you bowl eligible. One more win out of what we have left in the season makes us bowl eligible. And like you
Yep,
mentioned, the next way make a bowl, but we still, that's your first goal there. A win, and then 6 wins, and then where can we take it from there in the postseason? So yeah,
exactly.
it definitely did get there.
And also, I can't remember exactly. You'll remember. I'm pretty sure you're just one win away from equaling your total last year. Didn't they? Did they win six or seven? Not counting the bowl.
With if not counting the ball, we were 6-6.
You are one win away from equaling your total of the entire last year, which was equal to the entire like 3 years before that. So that's how far ahead you are right now, is that you're one win from being bowl eligible. You're one win from tying the total from last year. And this is a way better team. And actually, to kind of button up this game, where they go next. Oh, I know where they go next week. You actually have a good shot to beat this team too. You've already kind of beat some other similar teams, but this one in particular uh, is not getting me any favors at the place I will be this Sunday. But that's fine. I will totally pick against it. I will debate on wearing this uh, on that day as well. Might even wear it Monday. We'll see. But you move on to face number 12, the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame, who are 5-1. Oddly enough, now granted you're the only ACC game at 3:30, but no, you're one of two. I see the other one now. 3:30 kickoff on ESPN. That's got to make NBC just so upset. But Notre Dame is an 11.5 point favorite. Did did they forget Georgia Tech's 5-2? Did they not watch this show that I mean, if you would have said 5, 6, maybe even 7, I'll give you that. Maybe they're a 7 point favorite. I would say 5. But they're Notre Dame is on the road. They are coming to the flats at Mark Rick Field, Bobby Dodd Stadium to most people. And that's almost disrespectful because that means it'd be 14.5 if they played on Mars. So what do you think of that spread and how do you see this game?
Yeah, like I said, it's a little bit disrespectful. I mean, I understand. It's another one of those things I've said over and over for I don't know as long as we've been looking at college football. Probably
Mhm.
going back to our high school days. That
Yeah,
people
5 years
favor
ago. Yep.
Notre, that people favor Notre Dame. Like it's just one of those things historically that people just follow them around. It's like I mean, people say that college football voters love the SEC. Granted, the SEC does have some pretty good teams, but um,
A few.
you
They got
know,
a couple. Yeah,
a couple. Um,
at least.
yeah, yeah. Um, but yeah, it's depending on who you follow, who you read, and notes. Some say it's a little closer. I read one a little while ago that they expect, even though they seem like it might be a good contention, they still think Notre Dame's going to cover the spread. So it's kind of like, so really, um, we both have good defenses. We got it's I think even listening to interviews from Brent Key and Jamal Haynes talking about, their opponent that Notre Dame doesn't have it's not too complicated in what they run. It's just what you can do against it.
Yeah.
They've got they're good in cover. They do a lot of man, and put extra people in the box. Just different things that they can run. They don't have to run a lot to achieve the success that they've got. Of course, Northern Illinois certainly to show what can be done against them. Um, so looking at that game and the different things that they do is where we will concentrate on those and see what we can do against their schemes.
We're just looking at how their top players compare to Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's guys actually have better numbers. Um, Probably about 30% better numbers almost across the board, which is crazy because you've seen the Notre Dame Fighting Irish run up the score against a bunch of people. You mentioned Northern Illinois. Shout out to them. That was fantastic. We've seen Vandy do some fun stuff this year. We've seen them do. It's been the year of fun stuff. Um,
Yep.
them having to travel, I do think that's going to play a small part because the Irish are usually not. They're not as good on the road as they usually are at home. There is a home field advantage for them. Let me go ahead and dispel this. God is not on their side. Just he stays out of things like this. Let's just say that they are not favored by the heavens, no matter how pretty the clouds look. Let's get that out of the way. Such things don't exist. But um, I feel like Georgia Tech has they have as fair a chance in this one as they have any of these games. They've got to play better than when they faced Louisville and Syracuse, which are the ones that I think they just let slip by. I think they could have
Yep.
showed they're in that upper echelon, but it's not past them to take out the Irish. I would say if they can get some pressure on what's his name, Riley Leonard, I think that would help. If they can get some pressure on him, he won't be able to rely on Jeremiah Love. I think it's Jeremiah. I'm close to that. Did I get it right? It is Jeremiah. Jeremiah Love. I should remember that. But I think that's part of it. That's at least what I would say is the first key is that they've got to put a lot of pressure on Riley Leonard and they've got to make him make decisions before he's ready to make them. And I think this defense will eat him alive if he's able to do that. But it's going to take a little bit. They're going to have to dial up some stuff early. Um, what do you got as maybe the second key to victory here?
I'm going to stick with it. What we kind of mentioned before with Jamal Haynes is can we continue to have that running game success? You've got a defense that's It ranks 46th in the nation. Excuse me. Whoops, read that wrong. No, they only allow 12.6 points per game and 284 yards per game. So, they have a very strong defense. That, you know, can we get that run game going, or are we going to have to rely more on the passing game, which, depending on uh, how King's doing, is will matter. But I think if we can get that running game going, then we should have some success there.
Yeah, I was looking at the Notre Dame schedule. At the time, Texas A&M was 20 in the opening game, number 20, and they only scored 13. Northern Illinois scored 16, 3 points more, but that they got the victory there. Purdue 7, Miami of Ohio 3. At the time, number 15, Louisville 24. They've done the best, but Louisville did a pretty good job on Tech as well. And Stanford only mustered 7 uh, last week. So that Irish defense is pretty good. I don't think they face these really great offenses because I think Louisville is the best offense they faced, and they put 24 points on them. So I think if Tech can get at them early and often, I think that's going to help them the most. And third key, I think you'll agree on this one. You got to win the turnover battle. As close as this game probably is going to be, it may be one bounce of the football one way or the other as to how it ends up. So you got to make sure that bounce is coming to you, or you got to make sure that it doesn't bounce. Make sure you keep you hold on to it, you don't fumble, or you don't throw into triple coverage. You don't make mistakes that you know better than to do, I guess is the best way to put it. If they win the turnover battle and they establish the run as you were saying, and they get after Riley Leonard, I think very much next week we're talking about a Tech victory. Um, it might be 27-24, something close to that. I think it's going to be really close. It might come down to a Aidenberg kick. It might come down to a late Haynes King run. Who knows? But I think it's going to come down to a late score.
Yeah, that's how I'm feeling as well. So I can double do with that. I mean, when we did that last game with the last 16 seconds with a 68-yard run. So if we're having that run game going, then definitely could see something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. You got a score prediction? I think I'll stick with 27-24.
Um, I'll go. I'll go 28-24.
Okay. I think, like I said, I got it right in there somewhere. I think they're
Yeah,
gonna hover around 30 points, but I don't think either one of them are gonna get there because these defenses are gonna not really allow a lot.
yeah. Like I said, no, we only allow 20 points per game. They're only looking at 12.6 on average. So 20.4 versus 12.6. So, but we both score in the 30 range. Us 31.5 points per game, and 32.4 on average. So definitely should be close and interesting to get there. One of those was not going to
Exactly.
work. That math doesn't work.
Exactly. But we're not being biased here because, as I said, UGA show this week, I picked against UGA for the first time. I would tell you if I thought the other team was going to win. I don't think the Irish are going to win. I don't think they're the number 12 team in the country. They may be slightly below that, but I think Georgia Tech should actually be ranked. But you beat Notre Dame, and you probably more than likely are going to be back in the 20s somewhere, probably around 22, 21, I would imagine. But the ACC is it's such a cluster at the top. It's a logjam. There's 5 or 6 teams that are fighting over 2 or 3 spots because they know probably one for sure, maybe a second ACC team makes that 12-team playoff, and you got to make sure that you're the number 2 team, and that usually means that you're the number 3 team because the number 2 team is going to lose the ACC. Whoever loses the ACC game is probably going to be out.
Yeah, and that's typically what we've seen in the past. It's whoever wins the ACC definitely move on. The other ones just even with the one losses seem to be outside the thing. So yeah, definitely crazy at the top. Miami, Clemson. Even newcomers, SMU's in there.
Yeah.
So they're definitely going. As we get down the road, what it's going to look like it'll be interesting.
Yep. But we've reached the end of the show. Appreciate everybody tuning into another great edition of Up with the White and Gold. He is GaTechJon Watts. I am Jeremy, the Impact York. We'll see you guys next week. Hook 'em horns. Deuces gooses. Go
Go
Jackets.
Jackets.